Dream of the Red Chamber, First Chapter. Ch1 dreams of knowing the psychic. Ch1 reminisces about her boudoir in the wind and dust. This is the first time to open the book. The author has experienced some dream fantasy since the cloud, so the real thing hidden away, and by Tong Ling said this stone book also, so said Ch1 cloud. But what and who is recorded in the book? He also said, now the wind and dust, nothing to achieve, suddenly think of the day all the women, one by one, a detailed examination to go, I think their behavior and vision are above me, I have a beard and eyebrows, is not as good as his skirt. I was so ashamed, but it was useless to regret. On this day, I would like to compile a collection of my past sins, which I owe to the grace of heaven and ancestral virtue, to the fattening of my eggs, to the education of my father and brothers, and to the discipline of my teachers and friends, so that today I have no skills and have spent half of my life in poverty. I know that I am guilty of many sins, but the boudoir in the history of people, not because of my unworthy self-protection of their shortcomings, and make them disappear. The morning breeze and the evening moon, the willow and the garden flowers, are more than enough to make people's brush and ink. The first time I saw the film was in the middle of the book. The book's original purpose is to remind those who read it. Readers, you know where this book started? Although it is almost absurd, it is interesting to play it carefully. The story goes that when the goddess of mercy was refining the stone to mend the heavens, she made 36,501 pieces of stone, 12 feet high and 24 feet square. The sentient emperor used only 36,500 pieces, leaving a single piece unused and discarded under the Green Ridge Peak. The stone, which had been tempered and refined, had become so spiritual that it came and went on its own, and could be as large or as small as it wanted. When he saw that all the stones had made up the sky, but he was not selected because he was not talented, he felt sorry for himself and mourned day and night. One day, while he was mourning, he saw a monk and a Taoist monk, who came from afar, with extraordinary bones and a very different spirit. When he came to this Green Ridge Peak, he sat on the ground and talked, and saw this bright and clear stone, which had shrunk into a fan, and was very lovely. The monk put it on his palm and said with a smile, the form is also a spiritual object, but there is no real benefit, we need to engrave a few words, so that everyone will know that you are a strange thing, and then take you to the country of prosperity, poetry, and yin of the family, flowers and willow prosperous place, gentle and rich country to go there. The stone was delighted to hear this, so he asked, I wonder what words can be engraved? Where can I take it to? I hope you will tell me. The monk laughed and said, don't ask, you will understand later. When he had finished, he slept on and drifted away with the monk, not knowing where he would go. After a few more lifetimes, an empty Taoist was visiting the Tao and seeking immortality, and he was passing under the Green Ridge Peak of the great desolate mountain, when he suddenly saw a big stone with clear writing on it. The empty Taoist took a look at it from the beginning, but it turned out to be a piece of stone that was carried into the red dust by the great master Miao Miao and led him to the other side. The above description of the fallen hometown, the place of reincarnation, as well as family trivialities, boudoir leisure, poetry, and riddles, but still complete, but the dynasty and age is lost without examination. The following is another verse. I have no talent to go to the sky, in vain into the red dust for many years. This is the body before the future, please who remember to make a strange legend? After looking at it, the empty Taoist knew that the stone had some origins, so he said to the stone, "Brother Stone, this story of yours, according to your own words, is somewhat interesting, so you engraved it here, with the intention of asking the world for a legend. As far as I can see, the first story has no chronology of the dynasty, the second story has no good governance of the court and customs by great sages and loyalty, but only a few different women, either in love, or with little talent and goodness. Even if I copy it, it is not a kind of miracle book." Stone really replied, "Why should my teacher be too stupid? I think the dynasties of the history of the wild history, but only the name of the Han and Tang, like me, this stone record, not with this set, only according to their own body of events and feelings, but fresh and unique. The book is not only about the Chinese government, but also about the Chinese government and the Chinese people. As for the books on talent and beauty, they are also open-mouthed, full of subjugation, 1,000 parts of a cavity, 1,000 people, and ultimately cannot help but involve obscenity. The author only wants to write his own two love poems and poetic gifts, so he fakes out the names of both men and women, and must add a small person to confuse them, like a clown in a play. What's even more annoying is that the truth is the truth, which is either the truth or the truth, is not close to the truth and is self-contradictory. Although I can't say that they are as strong as all the people in the previous books, I can see their stories, which can also dispel the boredom. As for a few crooked poems, they can also be served with food and wine. The reunion and sorrow, the ups and downs of the encounter, all according to the traces of tracing, do not dare to make a slight penetration, to lose its true. I hope that when the world wakes up from a drunken sleep, or when avoiding things to kill, to play with this, not only to wash the old, but also to save some life tendons, not more to seek the false and the delusion. What does my teacher think? After hearing this, the empty Taoist thought for a long time, and then read the stone book once more. The main purpose of the book was only to talk about love, and it was only a factual record of the events, and there was no harm in teaching prostitution, so he copied it back from beginning to end and asked the world about it. From then on, the empty Taoist saw the color because of emptiness, created love from the color, passed the love into the color, and realized emptiness from the color, so he changed his name to the Monk of Love, and changed the Stonehead record to the Monk of Love record. Donglua Kong Mai Zi titled Feng Yu Bao Jian. Later, Cao Sue can read the book for 10 years in the Red Pavilion, adding and deleting 5 times, compiling a table of contents and dividing it into chapters, and titled it The 12 Fistfuls of the Golden Lotus with an absolute title. This is the origin of the Stonehead. The poem reads: It is full of absurd words, a handful of bitter tears. Who can understand the taste of this? The origin of the Stonehead is clear, but I wonder who and what is written on the stone? Please listen. According to the writing on the stone, there was a city in Gusu in the southeast of the country, and the steel gate in the city was a place of wealth and elegance in the red dust. There is a 10-mile street outside the steel gate, and a ranking lane in the street, in which there is an ancient temple. Next to the temple lived a family of eunuchs, surnamed Yan, Fei, Xian, and his first wife, Feng. His first wife, Feng, was a virtuous and ladylike man, who understood manners and justice. Although his family was not very rich, he was considered a prestigious family in the area. Because this Ch1 nature is quiet, not to think about fame and fortune, daily only to watch flowers and bamboo, drinking wine and reciting poetry for fun, but is a first-class person of the immortals. But one thing is not enough, over 100 years old, no children, only a daughter, breast name Yinglian, 3 years old.